Hello everyone, welcome to the Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy, 3rd July 2025. Displayed here are the list of articles that we'll be discussing. So without much delay, let's begin our discussion with the first article. GST Day celebrated in the city. The article is taken from The Hindu. We know that every year the 1st July is observed as GST Day, right? And this marks the implementation of GST since 2017. And in this context, the Sridharan Rangarajan, Managing Director of Carborundum Universal Limited, has praised the GST regime in India for achieving the vision One Nation, One Tax promise. So in this background, let us discuss more about the GST from the prelims point of view. So GST Day and its significance, it is observed on 1st July every year, marks the implementation of GST in India since the July 2017, and it represents the One Nation, One Tax, One Market vision of India. And the GST regime has successfully, eliminated various indirect taxes and unified them into a single system. And coming to the structure of GST in India, we have three types of GST. Central GST, which is levied by the central government on interstate trade. And the next is state GST, which is levied by the state government on intrastate trade, that is within the state. Right. And next is integrated GST, which is levied by the central government on interstate trade and imports. So coming to the current GST slabs in India, so this is frequently changing, but as of now, there is a 5% GST on essential goods, including food items, and 12% GST for processed food and other basic services, and 18% GST. This is a standard rate of GST, which is levied on majority of goods and services. And then we have the 28% GST on luxury goods and sin goods. And the cess, it is specifically applied on the luxury goods and sin goods for example tobacco and luxury cars. Coming to the GST Council, so it is established under Article 379A of the Indian Constitution. So GST Council is a constitution body and it is chaired by the Finance Minister of India, and other members of the GST Council includes the state finance ministers, and the key function of the body is recommending tax rates, exemptions and dispute resolution regarding GST. And coming to the decision making in the GST Council, we can say that the decisions are based on 3/4 majority. So 3/4 majority means it needs support from the decision needs support from majority of the states. So this ensures the decentralized method of decision making, which gives more importance to the interest of states as well. Coming to the prelims practice question. The question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, GST was implemented through the 102nd Amendment Act. And statement 2, GST is a destination based indirect tax. And statement 3, petroleum products are included under GST. And statement 4, GST Council is chaired by the Prime Minister. So which of the statements is or are correct? Option A 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 4 only, and option D 1, 2 and 3. See, the correct answer is 2 only. Artificial rain trial postponed to August 30th. The article is taken from Hindu. So recently the Delhi government had a plan to conduct the first ever cloud seeding trial in Delhi to mitigate the problem of pollution. And the Directorate General for the Civil Aviation also granted the permission to conduct the trial from July 4th to July 11th. But due to the unfavorable monsoon cloud pattern, as per the advice of the Indian Meteorological Department and Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, which is located in Pune, now the government has rescheduled the trial from July to the month of August. As per the new rescheduled plan, the trial will be held from August 30th to September 10th. And the implementing agency, that means the agency which is conducting the cloud seeding in Delhi, it is the IIT Kanpur. They are collaborating with the Delhi government. And coming to the technique, the cloud seeding. So cloud seeding, we know that cloud seeding is a weather modification technique to enhance the precipitation by dispersing substances like silver iodide and potassium iodide or dry ice into clouds. So I will explain the mechanism. So we can see that various nations across the world, especially the United Arab Emirates, they have conducted this cloud seeding technique so many times to create artificial rainfall. And the first step to conduct the cloud seeding is nothing but identifying the clouds which are rich in moisture. So we have to identify the clouds which are rich in moisture, and the next is using a drone or aeroplane, we will disperse the substances like silver iodide or potassium iodide, and the silver iodide, dispersing the silver iodide is the second step. Okay, so and next to the silver iodide, the dispersed substance will act as a ice nuclei, and this will encourage the super cooled moisture to become thicker, and eventually they will become rainfall or ice. So this is how the artificial rainfall is created. is created using the cloud seeding technique. So once again I will repeat, first is identifying the clouds which are rich in moisture, and after that we will use the drones or aeroplanes to disperse the silver iodide, and after that the silver iodide will act as ice nuclei, and this will encourage the super cooled moisture inside the cloud to become thicker, and eventually they will become ice or rainfall. So this is how the rainfall is created using the technique cloud seeding. And coming to the additional insights, we can see that the first ever experiment in India of cloud seeding was conducted in the year 1952 in the state of Tamil Nadu. And after the success, we can see that various states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh conducted large scale trials. And now the recent focus of cloud seeding is to mitigate the problem of pollution. So we can see that the Delhi they are planning to conduct the first ever cloud seeding trial to mitigate the problem of pollution. And coming to the global examples, we can see that in 2008, during the time of Olympics, the China conducted the cloud seeding to create artificial rainfall, and United Arab Emirates they frequently conducts this cloud seeding program to create artificial rainfall. And what are the concerns associated with the cloud seeding? First is the effectiveness varies with the cloud type and humidity. See, the first condition to conduct the cloud seeding is nothing but the availability of clouds which are rich in moisture. Then only we can disperse the seed. Therefore, we need clouds which are rich in moisture. And the next issue is that sometimes, after dispersing the substance due to the influence of wind or some other weather factor, this the seed dispersed cloud will move from that region to another region, and it will give rainfall in some other place. So this is one of the major concerns associated with the cloud seeding. And the next is the environmental effect caused due to the chemical agents. We can see that the silver iodide, potassium iodide, these type of chemicals are used to create the artificial rainfall. So we are not sure what type of environmental impact it can create. And the next is the legal and ethical issues over the weather manipulation. So these are the major concerns associated with the cloud seeding. And you can see that this cloud seeding, especially the techniques, the weather modification techniques are very important from the UPSC prelims point of view. So in 2025, that is this year, in UPSC prelims we can see a question is there related to the cloud seeding. So the question is, artificial way of causing rainfall to reduce air pollution makes use of. So they are asking about the substance which are used to create cloud used for cloud seeding. The first is silver iodide and potassium iodide. The option B, silver nitrate and potassium iodide. Option C, silver iodide and potassium nitrate, and option D, silver nitrate and potassium chloride. So we can see that the silver iodide is a primary substance used for cloud seeding technique. So therefore we can eliminate option B and we can eliminate the option D. And the next is potassium iodide is the substance we are using primarily for the cloud seeding technique. Therefore we can eliminate option C also. It is not the potassium nitrate, it is potassium iodide. So we can come to the answer, that is option A, silver iodide and potassium iodide are the primary substances we are using to conduct the cloud seeding. And next we can see that in 2019 also the UPSC asked a question about weather modification. That the question is, in the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the use of cirrus cloud thinning technique and the injection of sulfate aerosol into stratosphere. So we can see that the sulfate aerosol into stratosphere is it is a technique that was suggested by the scientific communities for a very long time, but due to the feasibility issues, due to the limited technologies, this is not widely used. But the injection of the sulfate aerosol into the stratosphere is done for reducing the temperature. Therefore we can eliminate the option A and we can eliminate the option B. And coming to the option C, you are reducing the adverse effect of the solar wind on Earth. No, it is used to reduce the global warming. We can see that the incoming the solar radiation will be trapped by the various elements like carbon dioxide and all. This is the primary factor behind the increasing temperature or global warming. So what happens is that once the sulfate aerosol is injected into the atmosphere, this will reflect, the sulfate aerosol will reflect the incoming solar radiation. So that is how we can reduce the global warming using the technique injection of sulfate aerosol into stratosphere. Therefore here the correct answer is option D. This question was asked in UPSC prelims 2019. Coming to the prelims practice question, today's prelims practice question, the question is, consider the following statements regarding cloud seeding in India. Statement 1, silver iodide is commonly used in cloud seeding as a condensation nuclei. This statement is very correct. And coming to the statement 2, cloud seeding can be used not only for enhancing rainfall but also for mitigating urban air pollution. Yes, we can see that during the if there is a rainfall, then the pollution rate will fall. Therefore, we can use this cloud seeding to create artificial rainfall. Thereby, we can also mitigate the problem of pollution. Therefore, this statement is also very correct. And coming to the statement 3, the effectiveness of the cloud seeding is independent of existing cloud conditions. Now, we need clouds which are rich in moisture, then only we can conduct the cloud seeding. Therefore, the statement 3 is incorrect. And coming to the statement 4, the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, which is located in Pune, is the sole agency in India authorized to conduct the cloud seeding trials. No, we can see that IMD, IITs, they're all participating in cloud seeding trials and all. Therefore, the statement 4 is also incorrect. So, if you eliminate the statement 3 and 4, we can come to the answer, that is option A, 1 and 2 only. So let's check it. Yes, the option A is the correct answer. So with this, we will move to the next article. Groundwater crisis deepens in Karnataka's hard rock terrain. The article is taken from The Hindu. So recently, the researchers from the Water, Environment, Land and Livelihood or Well Labs, which is located in Chennai, they've done studies in the villages of Ramnagar district in Karnataka, and they found that most of the villages are facing the problem of rapid groundwater depletion. So in this background, let us discuss more about this news article from the prelims point of view. So what is the exact problem? The problem is rapid depletion of the groundwater. So to understand the reason behind this, we have to start from the geology of the region. We can see that the Karnataka, which is located in the southern part of India, it is a part of Deccan Plateau made up of hard rocks, mostly granite, and these hard rocks are acting as aquifers storing water. But the problem is that most of these rocks are not efficient in storing large quantity of water. And another major issue is that 99% of the Karnataka's population are depending on this type of aquifers for water, and this is increasing the strain over the water resources in the state of Karnataka. And the next major issue is the overuse of borewell. We can see that the farmers in Karnataka, they are growing water intensive crops, mostly vegetables and flowers, and to find water they are digging deep borewells. So the problem is that through digging deep borewells, the rainwater bypasses the shallow aquifers. For example, in the beginning, the aquifer may be, let's say that it is 100 meter, but because of the digging for the borewell, now the aquifer has become 300 meter. So even if there is a rainfall, the amount of water stored inside this aquifers will be located in the very depth of the aquifers, and this will automatically leads to the fall of the water tables in the villages of Karnataka. And you can see that the borewell depth in Karnataka has increased from 183 meter to 321 meter in the last 20 years. And another major issue is that the failure of the borewells, that is 70% of the borewells failed in the last 10 years. That means they are not providing sufficient amount of water. But the problem is depletion, not pollution. So the study done by the wells found that only few wells in the villages are polluted because of the nitrate and the fluoride content. Most of the villages are most of the wells are free from pollution, but they are not providing sufficient water. And the next is the economic strain. That is, the farmers are provided with free power service, but the panchayat has to pay heavy power bill. And because of this water depletion, majority of the development funds are diverted for water management and for ensuring water security. And you can see that the cost of the borewell, that is coming around 4 to 5 lakh, but many of them are failing. That is nearly 70% of the borewells failed in the last 10 years. They are not providing sufficient water. So what happens if there is no water? Then the agriculture will be affected. Therefore, the farmers may end up in debt trap. And when the farmers ends up in debt trap, they will migrate from their villages to cities to find new jobs. So the net result of the failure of the borewells, or the net result of the depletion of the groundwater, is nothing but the debt trap and migration of people from villages to urban area. And coming to the expert recommendation, what can be done? First is incentivizing reduce the usage of electricity and water. Second is reviving the tank and lakes in the villages, and the next is strengthening local level water planning. And the experts also gave a warning that if the situation is continuing like that, then within next 3 to 4 years the groundwater may run out. So this is the present condition of villages in the state of Ramnagar district located in Karnataka. And another major issue is that most of these villages are located near to the Bangalore. So we can see that the Bangalore few years back, that is 2 years back, the Bangalore faced a severe water crisis. And coming to the prelims practice question, the question is, consider the following. Statement 1. Hard rock aquifers are common in peninsular India. Statement 2. Borewells help recharge shallow groundwater. And statement 3. Overuse of borewell can lead to falling water tables. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 and 3 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. And option D, all of the above. See, the correct answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. The borewells will not help to recharge the shallow groundwater. Therefore, the statement 2 is incorrect. The statement 1 and statement 3 are correct. So, with this, we will move to the next article. How DNA evidence helped capture a killer who went undetected for 58 years. The article is taken from Indian Express. Recently, the DNA evidence solved a cold case in United Kingdom which started in the year 1967. So this person, Raylan Hetley, he raped and murdered a woman in Bristol in United Kingdom. And at that time, that is in 1967, there was no evidence to trace the killer. And this person was living 2 kilometers outside the fingerprint zone. And recently the court they took the evidence, that is the clothes of the victim, and they studied the cloth, and from the semen we found the DNA of this Raylan Hetley, and finally we captured him. Now the United Kingdom is sending him for a sentence of minimum 20 years. He is 92 years now. So in this background, let us discuss more about this news article. So scientific basis of DNA as evidence. So DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, which is the hereditary material, and it is unique to every individual. In another sense, we can say that DNA is a blueprint of a human being, and it is unique to each individual except identical twins. But even in the case of identical twins, the fingerprints of the twins will be different, and the DNA can be extracted from biological samples like blood, hair roots, semen, saliva, and the skin cells. And even the clothes are washed, the traces of the DNA will remain there for years if the conditions are right. And this was helpful in finding the killer in the Bristol murder case. And coming to the DNA as an evidence in India, its legal framework and institutional framework, the Indian Evidence Act Section 45 allows the expert opinion, including DNA evidence, to be admissible in court. So, according to the Indian Evidence Act Section 45, we can, the DNA evidence is admissible in the courts. And the landmark cases like Priyadarshini Mato case, Nirbhaya case are relied on DNA profiling to identify the culprits. And the next is the DNA Technology Use and Application Regulation Bill, which was introduced in the Parliament in 2019, proposed a framework for maintaining a national DNA data bank. But this bill is yet to be passed as a law, and it is because it has a lot of concerns associated with the privacy, data misuse, and finding the consent for DNA sample. And the key institutions involved in studying the DNA, the first is the Central Forensic Science Laboratory, which is located in Chandigarh, and they performs the DNA analysis. And the next is the Cellmark Forensic Service. So like that, in the United Kingdom, the Cellmark Forensic Service, they solved the Lucian Dune case, because she was a person who got murdered in the year 1967 by Raylan Hitley. And when the Cellmark Forensic Service, they studied the cloth of Lucia Dune, they found the evidence, the DNA of Raylan Hitley from the semen remains. So that helped the United Kingdom authorities to solve the cold case. So coming to the prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to the use of DNA evidence in criminal investigations, consider the following statement. Statement 1, DNA evidence can be legally be admitted as expert evidence under the Indian Evidence Act. And the statement 2, the National DNA Data Bank of India has been operational since 2019. And the statement 3, DNA evidence can remain preserved in textiles for several decades under the right conditions. See, the statement 3 is correct. So if the statement 3 is correct, we can eliminate option B. Coming to the statement 2, the National DNA Data Bank of India has been operational since 2019. See, the DNA technology application and technology, this bill proposed the establishment of National DNA Bank, but it is not. The bill is yet to be passed. Therefore, the statement 2 is incorrect. While if the statement 2 is incorrect, we can eliminate option C and we can eliminate option D. Therefore, the correct answer is option A. Yes. So as of now, the National DNA Data Bank is not operational because the bill is yet to be passed. And the DNA evidence can be legally admitted as an expert evidence under the Indian Evidence Act. Yes, the section 45 allows it. Therefore, the statement 1 is also correct, and the correct answer is option A, 1 and 3 only. So with this, we will move to the next article. The Last of Us Cretaceous edition, 99 million year old amber traps zombie fungus from insect brains. The article is taken from Indian Express. Recently, we found the evidence of a zombie fungus from a 99 million year old amber, which is located in Burma. So in this background, let us discuss more about the discovery from the prelims point of view. Coming to the discovery, so we found that two insects, that is a fly and an ant pupa, which is trapped in the 99 million year old Burmese amber. So amber, we know that it is a fossilized remains of coniferous trees, and they are infected by the brain hijacking fungi. So this evidence, it is pushing back the evidence related to the brain hijacking fungi. Before that, we thought that the brain hijacking fungi is there on this planet from 48 million years ago. But from this study, we found that they are on this planet since 99 million years ago. And the two species of insect trapped in the Burmese amber. First is the Paleoopiocordyceps ironomai. It is a species of the fly, and the next is the Paleoopiocordyceps gerondoformis. It is a species of the ant. So these are these two species are trapped in the Burmese amber, and this parasitic fungi, this brain hijacking fungi, is controlling them. Okay. And this evidence, like I mentioned, the importance is that this evidence is pushing back the evidence related to the brain hijacking fungi to the 99 million years old from 48 million years old. And coming to the evolutionary and ecological significance of this discovery, first it is pushing the origin date of the Opiocordyceps to mid-Cretaceous period, that is 100 million years ago. And the next is the study indicates the early parasite host coevolution, and also the ant specimen shows the death grip manipulation, that is ancient parasitic behavior. And coming to the overview about the Cretaceous period, the Cretaceous period is the last period of the Mesozoic era. So if we take the geological time scale, we can see we can divide the time into different era. That is, Archeozoic, Proterozoic, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. And the species, that is the ant pupa and the fly, belongs to the last phase of the Mesozoic era, that is Cretaceous. What are the two phases before the Cretaceous? The second is the Jurassic, and the first is the Triassic. So Jurassic and Triassic, this period only we can see the dinosaurs, non-avian dinosaurs are there. And finally, towards the end of the Cretaceous period, the asteroid struck the planet, and that resulted into the extinction of dinosaurs. And coming to the key events occurred on this planet during the Cretaceous period. That is the breakup of Pangaea, the megacontinent, and the rise of Atlantic Ocean. And this period also witnessed warm climate, rise of sea level with polar ice. And this period also witnessed evolution of flowering plants, that is angiosperms, and first birds, snakes, mammals. And this period was dominated by many insects. The best example is ants and the flies. And coming to the marine life during the Cretaceous period, the dominant life on marine was the marine reptiles like Plesiosaurus, Mosasaurus, ammonites, and early modern fish. So these are the dominant life dominated the marine ecosystem during the Cretaceous period. And the Cretaceous period, like I mentioned, it ended with the extinction of non-avian dinosaurs, Proterosaurus, and ammonites. The cause was the asteroid impact and Deccan volcanism. Coming to the prelims practice question. The question is, which of the following were the dominant in marine ecosystem during Cretaceous time? Trilobites, ammonites, Tiktaalik, and Ichthyostega. So the correct answer is option B. Ammonites, they are the marine species dominated the earth during the time of Cretaceous period. Let me check the answer. Yes, the correct answer is option B. A triangular dynamic in South Asia's power politics. The article is taken from the Hindu. So recently, the US administration under the Donald Trump, they revived their strategic ties with Pakistan, and we can see that the Pakistan Army Chief Azim Munir met Trump in White House. So in this context, let us discuss more about the changing power politics in South Asia from the main point of view. So coming to the shift, so we can see that currently the US administration has revived their ties with Pakistan, and they approved nearly 400 million for sustaining Pakistan's F-16 fleets. And Pakistan Army Chief also met the Trump in White House, and Trump praised Pakistan as a phenomenal partner. And now we can see the US administration is prioritizing the short-term strategic utility over the long-term partnership through reviving their ties with Pakistan. And you can also see that the geographical position of Pakistan is also one of the reasons behind the revival of US-Pakistan tie. we can see that the Pakistan is sharing border with Iran and Afghanistan. So in both nations, the United States has certain special interests. So through engaging with the Pakistan, they can indirectly engage in Afghanistan and Iran. So coming to the impact on India-US ties, we can see that since 1991, that means since after the fall of the Soviet Union, there was a steady progress in the India-US bilateral relation. On other side, we can see a fall of the a diminishing nature of the US Pakistan ties as well. But now, because of the revival of the Pakistan-US ties, there can be a weakening of trust in the India-US counter-terrorism cooperation. Because we can see that one of the biggest blames faced by Pakistan is that their indirect support towards proxy war. And the next is risk of reviving the third-party mediation talk on Kashmir. We can see that since the very beginning, whenever it comes to the matter of Pakistan, so whenever it comes to the matter of Kashmir, the US always supported Pakistan. And the next is dilutes India's role in Indo-Pacific strategy, because we can see that India also, like US, India also has special interest in Indo-Pacific region because it is very significant for trade. And on the other side, India has engaged with the United States for countering the Chinese domination in the eastern part of the world. But when the Pakistan is reviving the ties with the US, it will affect the trust between India and the US. And on the other side, the increasing fear of China-Pakistan axis. We can see that it will be like the 1970s condition, because when the liberation war, when the Bangladesh liberation war happened in 1970-71, that time the Pakistan, China, and the United States went against India. The only nation supported India was the USSR. So we can expect a same type of scenario, after the revival of the Pakistan-US ties. And coming to the way forward, what can be done? So first is asserting the strategic autonomy and red lines on terrorism and sovereignty. The next is deepening ties via Quad, 2+2 dialogues and the I2U2. So through this we can we can engage with the United States strongly from another side. And the next is engage with other important platforms like European Union, ASEAN, Middle East, to diversify our partners. So we can reduce the whole dependence on United States. And the next is use economic leverage to stay central in the US calculations, because we can see that always in the history, the United States policies towards other nations are mostly mostly driven by the economic or the profit motive. So therefore we can use our economic leverage to stay central in the US calculations. So coming to the mains practice question, the question is the triangular dynamic between US, India and Pakistan is shifting towards transactionalism, challenging India's strategic space in South Asia. Discuss the implications of this shift from India's foreign policy and suggest measures to safeguard its strategic interest. So it's a 15 marks question and you have to write around 250 words. Write the answer and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the next article. Using tech to empower women and children. The article is taken from The Hindu. This article is talking about the role of technology in the empowerment of women and children. So let us discuss more about this news article from the mains point of view. Now we will start with some of the key digital initiatives that aiming for the empowerment of children and women. So first is the Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan Tracker. So you can see that under the Saksham Anganwadi, nearly 2 lakh Anganwadis across India got modernized with the digital infrastructure. And 14 lakh centers are integrated, that is child caring centers are integrated with the Poshan Tracker. This helps us to track the real-time nutrition status of children and mothers. And you can see that 10 crore beneficiaries are registered under the Portion Tracker initiative. And this Portion Tracker also won PM's Excellence in Public Administration Award in 2025. And coming to the next initiative, that is PM Madru Vandana Yojana. So this provides financial benefits to the mothers. So you can see that for the first child, under the scheme, the mother will receive rupees 5,000. And for the second birth, if the child is girl, then they will get 6,000 rupees. And so far, nearly 90,000 crore are dispersed under the Pradhan Mantri Madhu Vandana Yojana through direct benefit transfer. And this this scheme is fully paperless and working based on Aadhaar enabled system. So therefore this will reduce the leakage. At the same time, it will also helpful for the people to address the real time grievances. So coming to the women's safety and justice platform, you can see that we established the She Box no, it is a single window act as a platform to address the problem of sexual harassment faced by women in the working institution. So it is established under the POSH Act, that is Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. And the next is the Mission Shakti app. This will provide real-time help for the women who are in the distress. And coming to the child protection and adoption system, you can see that the Caring app portal was introduced under the Juvenile Justice Act for the transparent procedure of adoption, and it also monitors the child care and the child care institutions. So coming to the tangible outcomes. So what are the improvements that we can see as a part of the initiatives taken by the government of India? First is the improvement in the sex ratio at the birth. So we can see that in 2014-15 the sex ratio stood at 918. Now it is 930 between the year 2023-24. And you can also see that recently the government of India brought the maternal mortality rate to 100. So from 130. And we can also see that recently the Department of Science and Technology, they brought an initiative called Kiran AI, that is knowledge involvement in research advancement and nurturing. So this initiative was brought by the Department of Science and Technology. The objective of this initiative is to the empower women in the field of research. And you can also see that recently the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, they released a report called Women and Men in India 2024. As per this report, you can see that the literacy gap between men and women in India is also narrowing. And at the same time, you can see that in overall, in every aspect, the gender justice is improving these days in India. And you can also see, that these days the higher institutions, especially the STEM institutions, are also recording the increasing enrollment of girls. And coming to the key challenges ahead. So what are the major challenges before us? First is a lack of digital literacy among the frontline workers, and the next is the increasing or the existing rural urban digital divide. And the next is strengthening data protection and the grievance system. These are the major challenges that we are facing now. So for through digitalizing, through including more technology, we may be able to address these problems, or we may be able to bridge this gap in the coming days. So coming to the mains practice question, the question is discuss how the integration of technology by the Ministry of Women and Child Development has enhanced access, transparency, and outcomes in the welfare delivery. So it's a 50 marks question, and you have to write around 250 words. Write the answer and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the next article. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's current affair analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time update from Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.